Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Nibs, and we are ATX VGC. Welcome back to our Monday Night Friendlies. Alongside me tonight is Roller Coaster. How you doing, Roller Coaster?
I'm doing good, man. I was in the desert a week ago, so I'm excited to see what the game's like. I have no idea,
Yeah, what even is Pokemon anymore? What
right?
format are we in? Who knows? All right, so first off tonight, I believe we have Woke Flossie versus Woke Flossie, aka Amy, and she is battling against. Remind me, Adam Santacos. That's right.
Mhm.
All right. So I don't know if you have anything to say, Roller Coaster.
No, I just know that both of them allegedly have some pretty unconventional things. So, I love me seeing some weird matches. I'm down for it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Greedent this week.
I'm always down for Gradient. I want to see Pincurchin KO another dragon.
Yeah.
Hello. It's that time where I, Roller Coaster, commentate the match by myself, and you guys have to listen to me talk, and no one can do anything about it. Let's do it. So, we got our good friend and my fellow commentator Nibs on the left, and we have Jalen Cherry Man Cake Cherry on the right. I don't think that Cherry has ever actually played on stream, so I'm super excited to see what he's got. This should be a lot of fun. And oh wait, the echo's gone? Okay, wait. All right, cool. Whatever then. I'm going to be doing my best to commentate solo and just bouncing between this and the chat and see what's going on. So, Nibs. Nibs has Lapras, Talonflame, Raichu, Urshifu, Serena, and Duraludon, while Cherry has Lapras, Rotom, Sneasel, Virizion, I lost sight of what else there was, Comfy, and Corviknight. So this is pretty cool. Corviknight looks pretty solid. Well, actually, never mind. I take that back. Corviknight looks okay. You have to be worried about things like Max Lightning from Lapras and Duraludon, and just regular electric moves from Raichu, as well as any potential special fire type moves from Talonflame that kind of get in the way of your bulk ups and stuff like that. I believe that Nibs is using the team that won the Women's Cup a couple of weeks ago. And I unfortunately did not have the chance to watch much of it. I got to watch our very own Gemma get into the top cut, and she played amazingly, and she had a really cool team, so that was awesome. But this apparently is the team that won, so I'm super excited to see it in action, and I'm super excited to see what Cherry has. I love me a Rotom, so let's see what is going to go down here. Let's see what we got from the leads here. Cherry is going to go for Sneasel and Virizion, just immediately going to try and get that beat-up strategy off, and Talonflame and Raichu is going to come out from Nibs. So I'd say this is a pretty solid lead on both parts. Cherry led very anti-Lapras, didn't want that or have to deal with any of the Aurora Veils. The only thing that's scary right now is that you probably want to get the Virizion out of there, because something like just a regular Brave Bird is going to do a lot of damage to it. And that is not something that you really want to be playing with. Presumably, Cherry has something like the Corviknight in the back, which can soak up flying moves a lot better than Virizion can. Or maybe just even the Rotom, which resisted it also very well and is able to fire back with a super effective electric type move. But with Raichu on the field, Raichu left the field. So Nibs is going to switch out Raichu. Doesn't think that he needs it any. Bring in the Duraludon. And Cherry's going to switch out the Virizion, this great move, take away the chance of getting hit by a flying move, and come in with the Rotom, which will eat it up a lot better. Nibs is actually just going to go straight up on the offensive, and this is maxing that Talonflame and getting a big max Airstream off. Lucky for Cherry that he switched out the Virizion, because that thing definitely would have just died. Unless it was Kobo Berry or something like that. But even though this is going to be a resisted hit into the Rotom, fake out. I like it. He avoids the fake out. But so this doesn't get a lot of damage off into the Rotom, but this does give a speed boost onto both the Talonflame and the Duraludon. And now it's really, really risky for that Virizion to come back in. Luckily, it looks like that means that screens are going to be an issue. So maybe Cherry feels less the need to prioritize the Ruzion, and can just go for something like a Nasty Plot and maybe switch to Corviknight if he has it, or just like protect the Sneasel, or maybe just go for like chip damage with like triple Axle or something like that. It'd be hilarious if this was like Surf Weakness Policy Rotom, but Sneasel is just going to switch out. Corviknight's going to come in, potentially take up any Steel type move that comes. Talonflame's just going to go for a Max Guard, and Duraludon's going to go for a Flash Cannon, which Corviknight will be able to eat up very, very healthily. And Rotom is going to get a Nasty Plot off. So this is a really solid turn from Cherry. You don't take that much damage, and you end up wasting another turn of Talonflame's Max. Now the question is, does Raichu come back in or not? Either way, I'd say that probably the safest move is just a not even gonna go for a Max. Okay, just gonna go protect the Rotom. I think that Cherry has identified that Rotom does really, really well in this matchup. Corviknight's about to get roasted though. Oh, but Corviknight survives. Dang, I'm genuinely surprised by that. We saw you and me, us, we're friends. We saw that Talonflame's Max Flare is based off of Heat Wave, which means it's hitting on the special side, which means that Corviknight isn't going to say, oh, Tailwind of Cherries. Oh, that is sick. Okay, well, now the speed advantage is just reversed, and Cherry is in charge of who goes first. This is probably around the time when you're expecting the Raichu to come in. Gale Wings is broken because of the fake out, and you can't afford to lose the speed advantages that you have. But Nibs has given Cherry the Sunlight, which is going to make that Rotom even stronger. And Corviknight potentially has the ability to just go for a Roost or heal up for something like that. Let's see. Max is going to come out from Cherry's side. Presumably, this is going to be that Rotom. I personally wouldn't max Corviknight in front of a Talonflame. Let's see how brave Cherry is, and if he goes for the Max Lightning into the Talonflame. But honestly, I think that a Max Flare in the Sunlight at +2 can just KO the Talonflame. Corviknight just goes down to the Heat Wave. It's Sun Boosted, and on the special side, Corviknight goes down, and Rotom is going to go for a Max Flare. Is this into Duraludon? It is into Duraludon, and that is going to easily pick up the KO. The thing is nice now. Cherry has fake out pressure because he preserved his Sneasel early on. Yep, here comes the Sneasel. We don't know if it's something like Focus Sash. It could be Eviolite. I don't particularly know why it's a Sneasel instead of a Weavile. But another Heat Wave coming off, and Raichu may just try to go for a fake out of your own. If you catch Cherry sleeping at the wheel and not going for fake out, nope. Sneasel goes for the fake out. Going to break any potential Focus Sash on that Raichu. Heat Wave is going to take it down to Sash. Yep, take it down to Sash. And this is probably just going to be another Max Flare into the Raichu. Yep, into the Raichu, which means that that Rotom is going to be able to get an easy Max Lightning KO onto that Talonflame. It's free to... And Serena is the last one on Nib's sides, which means that Cherry can either just go for the Max Flare onto Serena and then just Thunderbolt the Talonflame, because it doesn't really have any way of hitting the Rotom for super effective damage, or you can go for the Thunderbolt onto the Talonflame and then risk overheat hits, or maybe a triple Axle onto the Serena, or bring the Virizion in and like close combat it later. Serena's just going to go for a Protect, worried about taking a Max Flare, something like that. Sneasel is going to go for a Foul Play. Okay, into the Talonflame. Heat Wave going to come out, finish off that Sneasel, just do a little bit of chip damage to that Rotom. And Rotom Heat is going to go for A final max flare into the Serena through Protect in the sun that almost gets the KO. That hits hard. The Tailwind is gone. So the speed advantage, well, actually, we don't know the speed difference between Serena and Rotom. So potentially it is faster. It could be very slow Rotom. But honestly, just protecting Verzion and going for a Thunderbolt onto Talonflame should seal this game up. Or even just Thunderbolting the Serena. Like, it just protected, so probably can't do it again. Verzion is still very, very threatened by the Talonflame. I would definitely still protect it this turn. Keeping just the advantage of Pokemon's always good in your favor. But this is looking like it's going to be Cherry's game. He may just want to try to fish for some information, find out if this Verzion is like Cobra Berry or something like that. Could be weakness policy, though if you go for a Brave Bird, you're not going to find out if that's weakness policy or not. Yeah, and just kind of go for damage. Talonflame goes for Heat Wave, misses the Rotom. Is that enough to KO the Virizion? It is not. So potentially going to find out if it is weakness policy. It appears to not be. Close combat going to pick up the KO on Serena. And then a Thunderbolt should just wrap this one up for everybody. But yeah, yep, that's it. No Life Orb chip damage. So the item on Virizion is still going to be a mystery. So this is a really good game. Cherry seemed to Cherry seemed to really bring the right tools and adjust correctly to what Nibs was doing. Nibs obviously didn't want to deal with any beat up stuff, so just tried to pressure it as much as possible, and then got taken off guard by the fact that Max Flare did not KO the Corviknight and that it had Tailwind. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy. Both things that I also wouldn't have been mentally prepared for. So potentially, I don't really know what adjustments you go in terms of the Mon U brings. I don't think that anyone brought anything wrong. Nibs might want to bring the Urshifu this time to better pressure that Rotom. But he just needs to make sure that he doesn't do anything to set up the Sunlight to make it even more resistant to their Surging Strikes. Again, we, the viewers, how are you guys, can see that it's choice banded, but Cherry doesn't know that. And a Dynamax Rotom, I don't know if it can be bulky enough to survive a Surging Strikes. So we're going to get in game 2, and we're going to see how these guys adjust to each other's game plans. Yep, Cherry going for the exact same lead. Obviously, it allowed him to reposition pretty easily. I imagine this is going to be the exact same turn. It's really, really safe to switch in Rotom and kind of just do anything. Nibs probably won't go for the Dynamax on Talonflame this time. Maybe he just wants to set up something like a Tailwind and try to get the KO, or just try and get the KO onto that Sneasel this turn. So the option for Fake Out later in the game or Beat Up later in the game is not an option. Yep, Cherry's going to withdraw the Verzion. Obviously under a lot of pressure. Comfey coming out this time. Very interesting. Heat Wave coming out from the Talonflame. Going to do a good amount of damage to Sneasel. Red card Comfey forces the switch out, and Lapras comes out. Icy Wind comes out from Sneasel. That is amazing tech. I don't think that would have worked if Nibs Dynamaxed. Hilarious nonetheless. And a U-turn coming out from Serena is probably going to finish that Sneasel off. Yeah, and now you can bring your Talonflame back in, and you have a really solid Brave Bird and G-Max Resonance, I would say. And I'm not entirely sure what Cherry can do to counter that at this point. I don't know what they have in the back. But Nibs making a much better play than game 1 and kind of doing better to like ease off the gas pedal a little bit and just kind of and realize that Cherry's going to try and play a bit more defensively, and reacting that by like, okay, you're going to play defensively, then I'm not going to go as hard as I did last time. So now Nib still has the option of Dynamax. He can definitely go for that Lapras. Virizion can't boost its attack, and something like a Brave Bird into the Virizion is going to do a lot of damage. So, but from Cherry's perspective, that Talonflame's still on the field. You might want to just switch out again. Yeah, I don't know. Comfey normally is there to trigger weakness policies quickly, but as we saw last game, the Virizion isn't weakness policy. So that's not something that Nibs needs to be afraid of right now. Yeah, Virizion's definitely going to switch out. This is probably going to be, yeah, it's going to be Rotom again, which again would take a Brave Bird and a Resonance double up very, very well. And even potentially, well, no, Comfey, if it went for Floral Healing, that would go off first. So Comfey potentially going to go for a Trick Room, anticipating a Tailwind coming from the Talonflame. Just goes for Floral Healing. Rotom's HP is full. Brave Bird going to come out. Oh, wow. Floral Healing goes up before Gale Wings. That's interesting. And then a Resonance is going to come out from Lapras. And let's see how much that does. Does that KO Comfey? It gets it real close, but not quite there. So now Nibs is in a much more favorable position because it's a Rotom Heat and it's super weak to water type moves. You can't as comfortably Nasty Plot in front of it. You're also kind of in like a bad position if you just go for like Dynamax and Thunderbolt, because with the Aurora Veil up, it's going to be doing way less damage. Nib still has Serena in the back. Cherry is just going to go for the Dynamax. This is presumably the Rotom, although I would love to see Comfey get big. Yeah, it is Rotom. Potentially, something that could be really smart would be going for Max Flare to limit the amount of damage you take from a Geyser coming in. Rotom's going to go all the way back to the full thanks to Floral Healing. Tailwind's going to come out from Talonflame. Oh, that means that Lapras is going to go first, so even if that was Cherry's plan, it's going to take a lot from this Geyser. Although Rotom is pretty bulky, so I think it'll still survive, but it takes so much damage. And yeah, this is probably going to be... It could even be like a Thunderbolt into the Talonflame, because that'll still KO. It's going to trigger the Berry. It is of the Iapapa variety. Lightning coming out into the Talonflame. I think this should KO through screens. Yeah, it does. But the speed advantage is now in Nibs's favor. There's a lot of damage on that Rotom. And Virizion is in the back. And while that does pressure Lapras, only if it can get the hit off first onto it. So Nib's going to make the decision to bring in Duraludon, and now I think that you have a really, really safe Geyser into the Rotom and Flash Cannon into the Comfey. That prevents, even if it has Babiri Berry, it's pretty low, so I don't think it can survive the hit. So Cherry tries to go for something like a Max Guard and a Trick Room. Yeah, it's going to be, just a Draining Kiss to do a little bit of chip. Well, this actually, Duraludon has terrible special defense. Get a little bit of recovery back, maybe try to recover past the point of Flash Cannon KOing, but no, it's going to pick up the KO. Virizion's going to come in, and with the Rotom being so low, no more recovery left on the field, Virizion being weak to the Dynamax, this is looking really, really good for Nibs. Dynamax is over, which means that you're now playing with Hydro Pump missing, so maybe Cherry's plan is to dodge a Hydro Pump and just protect the Virizion and like try to hit back hard with a max lightning. Doesn't sound like the worst plan ever. You may want to protect the Virizion. I don't know how bulky it could be. It could be assault vested, actually. Now that I think about it, it did take that heat wave in the rain heat wave in the sun remarkably well, which means that it actually doesn't look terrible right here. But yeah, I'd say maybe like a close combat into the Duraludon and a max lightning into the Lapras, and then trying to like wait out the rest of the turns of screens and Tailwind. Duraludon just goes for a flash cannon into the Virizion. I'm getting more suspicious that it's assault vested. Grassy Glide actually coming out from the Virizion. It's still is faster even in Tailwind. That's very interesting. Rotom just going to go down to a Hydro Pump. And with how little that Grassy Glide's doing, the fact that Nibs has 3 of its Pokemon left, I would say that this is kind of a wrap on Cherry's end. Virizion is not super strong, not famous for 1v3ing other Pokemon. Draco Meteor coming out, gonna do big chunks to this Virizion. And not that. Okay, yeah, that has to be assault vested, right? I'm not crazy. Like that took it way too well. Close combat into Duraludon, maybe just hoping for a crit and something like a protect on Lapras. Freeze Drag coming out, and Virizion's going to go down. So that's going to be game 2 to Nibs. Wow, all of our sets are going to a best of 3 tonight. That's really cool. But really good adjustment on Nibs. Like I said, taking his foot off of the throttle and kind of recognizing that Cherry's going to play more defensively and not so aggressively. And really kind of not making hard reads of the switch outs, but like just kind of making safer plays was a really good adjustment. Cherry did play very well, but unfortunately Nibs was just kind of able to position himself better than Cherry was. Oh, that's right. The Sneasel took an Icy Wind, so it's not that it's just faster. With the lack of Protect coming out from that Virizion and how well it took the Draco Meteor, I'm very inclined to believe that it's assault vested. But lots of good information coming out. Now, what do we do for game 3? It appears to be a weakness policy Lapras, so Cherry may just go for leading Comfey and triggering his weakness policy and then going after the Talonflame, or setting up a Veil. I don't know. This is very interesting. I wouldn't really know what the best course of action to do at this point. The 4 Pokemon Nibs brought last time seem to be really solid, and the thing is, like, no matter what, if Nibs leads like the Talonflame lead, no matter what, if Cherry has the Virizion on the field, like no matter what it's paired with, you kind of have to switch out because you can't risk them going for a Brave Bird even if you're faster. Like, Talonflame may not be the strongest thing in the world, but like a 120 base flying move when you're 4 times weak to it just does not ever feel good. My mouth is getting dry. All right, game 3. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Cherry is going to be leading with Comfey and Lapras. Nice. Just going straight for the weakness policy Lapras stuff. May try to pick up that Talonflame off as soon as possible. Potentially even go for something like a Protect and Trick Room. And Nibs is going to go to Duraludon and Talonflame. Duraludon is assault vested, but I just don't think Lapras is too bulky. They kind of can't offer enough offensive pressure against it. So Cherry has a good amount of options here. It can be kind of scary going for like a Trick Room in the face of Talonflame Duraludon, because as we saw from the last game, it's not the Berry Berry, so any steel move that Duraludon goes for is going to take it to a potential Sash if it has it. It could just be a Recovery Berry, so it could just get the clean knockout. Talonflame's actually going to switch out. Very interesting. Nibs is going to bring in his own Lapras. Nibs is Dynamaxing, so this is going to be the Duraludon. So plus for Cherry is that you know that you don't have to deal with screens on Nibs' sides if you choose to go for your own, which is always a nice feeling if that was something that you're really worried about, which like in the Lapras mirrors can be really annoying playing against opposing screens. Lapras is going to get big, presumably just going straight on the offense. This could be like a geyser into the Talonflame, or even just a resonance into the Duraludon. Duraludon, though it's a neutral hit, has really bad special defense, so you'll get a solid chunk off on it regardless. And Giga Drain coming into Lapras, triggering the weakness policy, gonna get that thing up to +2. If that's a water absorbed Lapras, which I doubt that it is, it's probably Shell Armor. Steel Spike coming into the Lapras actually does a good amount of damage, but not as much as you want it to when you just see it get itself to +2 special attack and attack. Resonance coming out, that's definitely going into the Duraludon. I imagine this will do like half. Ooh, that is way more than half. Oh, it was a crit. Ooh, that is bad for Nibs. That is not the position that you want to see yourself in. At this point, I think that like a Draining Kiss might actually be a very real threat the Duraludon is facing right now. Looks like so now the Veil is up. You're +2. The Duraludon is in range of any hit that you go for against it. You have your screens up, so you may want to try and go for Trick Room if the Comfey has it. I would very much assume that it does, especially because you can get a KO this turn. Floral Healing onto the Lapras. You're going to heal up that little bit of chip damage, or that damage that it took from the Steel Spike. Knuckle going to come out. This is not for the Duraludon being a special attacker. This is for the Serena. It actually does like no damage to Lapras. But trying to get your Serena to +1 is a pretty solid plan of trying to take care of the opposing Lapras. Max Lightning coming out. This is going to be into the Serena. Obviously, Grass resist electric move, so that doesn't do as much as Cherry presumably wanted it to. But Duraludon is super low, and I honestly believe that a Draining Kiss will pick up the KO after Max. I even wouldn't be surprised if it happened while it was still maxed. But now with a +1 Serena, Electric Terrain set up, Lapras is kind of in a lot more dicey of a position. Floral Healing is going to get it back up to full. Power Whip, big damage. Max Steel Spike, with the Veil up, I think it still survived. Yeah, Lapras survives barely. And this should be a second Resonance off into... Oh, Geyser, actually. That's very interesting. Into the Duraludon. Yeah, that should get the KO, too. The only thing that's scary is that this Lapras just loves critting the Duraludon. It has Vendetta against it. Duraludon's going to go down, and the Max is going to end on Nibs' Lapras, which is scary because that Serena is still very much a threat. Nibs doesn't even... I believe that it has both Power Whip and Grassy Glide, so Nibs doesn't even have to risk the Misc on it. Potentially Cherry was a little afraid of Serena doubling back into the Lapras with all the positioning that Nibs has been doing, but I really think that Cherry needs to get rid of that Serena. I mean, I don't know what Cherry has in the back, so potentially whatever he has in the back can take care of it. Nibs has a really safe Grassy Glide into the Lapras, and I don't think Comfy can really do anything to save it from that. Like, you can Floral Healing, but at a +1 Grassy Glide is probably still going to KO even after screens with... Okay, Comfy's going to switch out, actually, into Virizion, which is the thing that Cherry has been trying to show off this whole time. Grassy Glide's going to come out into Lapras, just pick up the KO onto it. Don't want to risk missing or anything like that. Freeze Dry is going to come out. Really solid play, good move. No freeze comes out, and behind the screens, God, is that Assault Vest? I don't know. I don't know anything about Virizion. I'm going to be completely honest here. Comfy's going to come back out. Probably just going to go for a Floral Healing. And now's where you're going to kind of have to make some reads. Is Talonflame going to come back in? Who is it going to come back in for? Does Lapras protect? Is Nibs just going to like let this KO happen? I'm very interested to see, because Nibs led with Talonflame, so Cherry knows that it's back there. Lapras goes for Protect. Comfy goes for Floral Healing onto the Virizion. This should get it right back up to full. This is presumably going to be a grass move into the Lapras. Bounce, actually. Okay, that's cool. This is really good because, okay, so that's presumably going into the Serena, which means that, okay, because of the U-turn that was attempted, Nibs doesn't get his Talonflame back in, and even if he did get the Talonflame back in, it wouldn't have been able to get a Brave Bird off onto Virizion, although I don't know if a Bounce is able to KO it. So Cherry making the definite right call of, you're not just going to let me KO your Lapras this turn, and decides to go after the Serena. Ooh. It's getting intense. Serena going for Protect, presuming that the Bounce is coming to them. Draining Kiss coming out. Oh, Queenly Majesty actually blocks that. Bounce coming into the Protect. There's going to be another Freeze Dry into the Virizion. So potentially we're just going to end up doing this all day. Virizion, I mean, Cherry doesn't really have anything better to do other than just Floral Healing. This time they may go for like a U-turn, or not a U-turn, a close combat. Nope, just gonna go for a Bounce again. Oh, is this Bounce Trick Room? Oh, Taunt! That's really good. Okay, so U-turn, not gonna happen. Freeze Dry, not gonna happen. The rain is gonna stop. And now Bounce is gonna go into the Serena this time. The only issue potentially is that, well, there's no screens up. So Talonflame, Nibs does not want to... Okay, Comfy's going to switch out for Sneasel. Ooh, Sneasel's in the back. Yeah, so this may just be up to Virizion. And Nibs may have just given Cherry the opportunity to do that because he switches in Talonflame. Virizion goes for Bounce. Bounce does connect. Oh, that does not do nearly as much damage. Gets the Paralysis, though. And Freeze Dry is going to come out again into the Virizion, and it's getting lower and lower and lower. Oh, and the Freeze comes out, which, unless Cherry unthaws this turn, I think is going to seal it. Because I think what you do is you're probably going to want to go for a Fake Out into the Talonflame. And a close combat into the Lapras. But yeah, that freeze really just kind of seals it for Cherry. It would have been a real big uphill battle regardless, but that freeze does not help at all. Cherry's actually just going to switch out Virizion and bring Comfy back in. Doesn't want to take the flying type move. Maybe a triple axle from Sneasel will be enough to KO the Talonflame. No, it just goes for a fake out. Queenly Majesty comes through. Heat Wave coming out from the Talonflame. Yeah, try to hit both targets. You don't need to get fancy with it. Virizium's already super low. Red card. I forgot that the company had red card. It's going to switch it back out to the Lapras. Now, at the very least, you can go for like a ice type move onto the Serena and a floral healing onto your Sneasel. But with the Virizion Frozen and these two more kind of passive support Pokemon being the only ones left, it's going to be really, really hard for Cherry to bring it back. Okay, so Serena goes for a Protect. Floral Healing comes out from Comfey. Gonna get the Sneasel probably back up to full or pretty close to it. I don't know if this is by percentage or what. Yeah, it's really close to full. Foul Play coming out. Yeah, that's smart. It potentially gets Talonflame on the switch in, which is really what you need. Freeze Dry does a lot of damage. Sorry, my nose itches a lot. And yeah, this is just kind of getting worse and worse as it goes by. You potentially can get your Sash back. So Nibs not going for an attack there may have kind of put Cherry in an even better position. And so maybe now you go for a Foul Play and like a Giga Drain. Cherry gonna switch in Virizion. Talonflame's gonna come in. Presumably a Floral Healing is gonna come out into the Virizion. Yeah, with the paralysis on the Talonflame, Virizion is faster, but I don't. It might have something like Stone Edge. Freeze Dry comes out into Comfey. Ooh, that's a crit. Yeah. Oh, this is just getting worse and worse for Cherry as it goes. Sneasel's gonna come back out, and I think what Cherry needs is to fake out the Talonflame and get a rock move off onto it or something that'll kill it and unthaw immediately. Foul Play is going to come out from Sneasel. Oh yeah, Sneasel's faster still. Virizion's frozen solid, and I honestly think that's... Oh, Talonflame got paralyzed! Back in it! Freeze Dry is going to go into the Virizion. It will survive it. Lapras is getting pretty low, so potentially another Foul Play. If Cherry can get rid of the Talonflame, Sneasel might actually be able to pull it back. It's going to be really, really difficult, though. Yeah, Lapras is not giving up here. No one's turning in the towel yet. Foul Play onto the Talonflame this time. Virizion thaws. Oh, Grassy Glide into the Lapras. Talonflame gets off the Tailwind, and I think that should just about seal it. Yeah, because now you can just go for Brave Bird, Freeze Dry. Yeah, unless Sneasel gets Sucker Punch, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Heat Wave, gonna connect on both targets. Yeah, and that's gonna be too much damage, and that's gonna seal it. But man, GG, that RNG got really rough in the end. But like, props to both players for not giving up. This Sneasel is giving it its all, going for those double hit moves, try to slow things down. But yeah, it just turns out to just not be enough. Hey, GG's to both Nibs and Cherry. That was a great set. I really enjoyed watching it. Good stuff. Never give up. Never surrender. You never know when you're going to unthaw. You never know when your opponent's going to get paralyzed. You never know when you're going to crit someone. That's my advice to anyone watching. But GG's. This has been a crazy night for just RNG stuff. But it looks like we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with me and Nibs to commentate our final match of the night. But thank you guys so much for staying with us. Try to join our Discord if you can. Thanks for the follows and all the support.
Hey, you like that video? We think you should check this out, and YouTube thinks you should check this one out. Be sure to subscribe for more content.